Okay, it's been a little while since an update. Uh, been working on the inventory menu. It's almost finished. At least for now, it's looking good. I started a little bit on the pause menu now to finish that up. It's still not fully implemented. Still got some things to add. Working on save and load right now. But I can show you how it's working so far. Load up my little save game. This is my starting character that I made. So now I've got quite a bit more information. I've got some transitions in here, so it slides out a little smooth. You can see anytime anything is equipped. I've got status icons and things like that. You can read your books by clicking them. You can drink your potions if you have any up here. These filter icons let you sort through your items just like in Skyrim. And if you hover over it, I've got tooltips now. If you ever want to know anything, it just shows you left click and you can filter by these things. Same down here. I can sort using these. If I wanted to sort by highest damage, highest value, highest weight, I can click it again if I wanted to go by ascending sorting. Same with names, item types. I can sort by all of it. I've got your regular stats over here. Name, race, class level, purple's experience, and then you got your health, your fatigue, your magicka. I will be supporting the correct health and fatigue colors here. I need to make sure that they sync up with the option. Your paper dolls right here. You can't click your paper doll. You can't hover over your paper doll. There's no functionality to it like there is in the original Daggerfall because this is not how you unequip items. You just click down here and you can equip or unequip. And it just updates that automatically. All your stats are under here. Combat skills, everything's the same as before, except now I have a few more of the icons put in. There's only a handful missing, 5 it looks like. And then this little section here, I have to represent your actual stats. So if you'll notice for weapons, where it says Iron Saber 2 to 11, Elven Tonto 2 to 9, that's the stats for the item itself. But if you're wondering, well, how much damage am I actually doing with that weapon? What is my actual chance to hit with that weapon? Those stats are listed here. I am not 100% that I'll keep this. I'm not sure I like this. Sometimes with UI, there's something to be said for hiding certain information from the player. Because you don't want to give them a peek into the kitchen, if you will. Sometimes if you reveal too much information, it can tell somebody how a system works, and then that they will suddenly find themselves manipulating that system more than they are simply playing the game as intended. So I don't want to give people too much information. I may not keep this. This part right here that says none, this lets you select the enemies that are in the dungeon you're in. This only works inside of dungeons right now. I don't have it anywhere else. But like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to keep it. Part of the problem with having this is that this now tells you every enemy in the area you're in the second you walk in. So if you load into a dungeon, you can just see, oh, there's orcs in here, and there's a rogue in here, and there's a skeletal warrior at some point. I'm not sure I want to give players that kind of clairvoyance, and I'm not sure what the best way. I don't want to add too many of these options. If I just went through and added every enemy type, people would be pretty overwhelmed. This would be an incredibly long list. So I wanted to stick to only the things that actually spawn, or that could spawn, but doing that, the best way I found to be accurate was to just check the enemies in the zone. And that's how you get this list, but like I said, that's revealing too much information, I think, maybe, but I digress. It's just a way that you can see, oh, why am I not hitting this guy? How come, this one is so much stronger than the others? I can see if I fought a skeletal warrior, I've got like a 9% chance to hit on my main hand, and I'm not doing much damage with it. But if I go to like a rat, I've got a 39% chance to hit this quite a bit higher. This is your total armor on your character. Armor doesn't really work how it does in some other games where it's like, maybe your total armor value would apply to damage reduction or something like that. In Daggerfall, this is purely your chance to be hit. The more armor you have, the less chance you have to be hit, but it only applies per body part, so it's not a total. So I'm not sure I'll put the total here. It's just sort of at a glance to tell, is my armor going up or down? as I equip things, but since it's not how the game works, I'm not sure I'll keep it that way. I wanted to have the tooltip maybe split it up into slots. So per slot, it'll tell you, you have this much armor on your chest, this much armor on your legs, this much armor on your arms. But I'm not sure I want to go that far. I don't want to put like every single body part icon on here because that would be too big. I wanted to try and keep this to just a couple of lines. So I don't know. I might just remove this whole section. But everything else I kind of like, the paper doll, the stats, the way it's all laid out. So you can just run around and play the game normally now. It's fine. I'm going to need that Elven Tonto probably at some point, so I'm going to equip that in my offhand. But now I can run around and go fight this rat. Did no treasure on that body. Let's go over here. Automatically slides everything in. If I loot everything, it'll automatically slide it all out and get you right back to it. So you can just grab everything and go. I will eventually be adding maybe like a bottom bar down here or something to help you with controls. So I'll have like when you go to loot a corpse or a treasure box or something like that, it'll say, hold this button to just loot all of it at once instead of going piece by piece. So that will be added, but I'm not adding those secondary controls in yet that the base game doesn't have. I'm going to talk about God mode so I don't die here. There's no point in dying when I'm just demonstrating UI. This guy takes my Elven Tonto. So I can kill him. See, with potions, I have pretty complex tooltips now for the magic items. This would normally be in the info window that you have to click. Instead, now you can just highlight it, and it'll tell you, it makes the target difficult to see. If you attack, it's aborted, right? These are the tooltips that would come from the spell book if you had it in your spell. Or if you had the spell known. I don't know that I will keep those same tooltips. I might implement my own, just so they're a little less verbose and a little more modern style language. This game tends to use sort of a fantasy style of speaking, so everything tries to stay like in that same style. I don't know if I want to change that or not. I might try to make the tooltips a little less verbose, but still stay in the same style. I think that's what I'll go for, is try not to change it too much, but maybe point out the specific parts. Like for the chameleon, for example, where it says target will remain so for 1 round plus 1 round for every 1 level of caster. That's probably information I don't need. I don't think players need to know anything about rounds. I would rather have that information stripped out. I don't know if I want to put any kind of duration to it or anything like that. Should I? I don't know. People don't really know what a round is, and a round's not really something that's obvious as far as time. I think in Daggerfall, a round is like 5 or 6 seconds. But yeah, so I'm not sure they should be the same tooltips. I might change them. Loot this guy here. Oh, he's giving me a full suit of armor. Fantastic. And a steel flail. I can just grab everything and go into here, filter by armor, and I can just start equipping everything, basically. I think I need all this. Aha! Look at me now. Fancy. Okay. Old pieces here, gauntlets. Powers unknown, right? Don't have it identified yet, so it won't tell me what it is. That's worked into the tooltip just fine. Everything is taken, like I said, from the base game's tooltips. I am just putting it on a fancier UI and editing it slightly in certain cases. Case with artifacts, I have to sort of hand edit some of those values for artifacts, along with a few other items. Potions were a little special, that kind of stuff. I do have optimizations in mind for this as well. It doesn't... I don't know, like, if it'll start performing really bad depending on how many items you have in your inventory. But, if anything slows down, I will be adjusting that pretty soon before release. So I'm not too worried about performance. I mean, right now everything looks fine, regardless of all the items and stuff I have on the character. I have never run into any performance issues so far. I just know that certain things can get slow. The player may or may not notice them because of the way it works. since UI pauses the game anyway, you won't notice the slowdown from smooth objects moving around in the background. Down here, I've got your total weight. So on your character, 49.4 out of 114. You can click the gold button if you want to drop stuff. I can drop 100 gold here, and it just puts it in the other window for me. If I leave, it drops that on the ground just like that, and I can go pick it up again if I want. If I had a wagon, I would show you that. I can go to another character in a little bit and do that. But if you right-click items, it'll drop them. Just walk away, pick them up again. Not a big deal. So it's pretty slick so far. I like how it's looking. You can slide this in and out as well. I forgot to show you that. If for some reason you don't want the stats window in the way, you can always hide it. You don't have to see it if you don't want to. But yeah, so that's how it's going so far. I will continue showing updates in the future. I will maybe slip in just a little bit of extra footage showing you like a character with some more unique items and stuff in his inventory. But yeah, it's going well so far. Got most of the kinks worked out in terms of how mods want to be implemented. I do in the future plan to support other mods so that if there's mods that add new item types or something like that, I want to try and support those as well. I have not done so yet. I do not plan to do so until I get this mod much further along with the other menus. But I don't want to leave people high and dry if they want to use a mod pack to be stuck with the old UI if they want to use an updated one. So hopefully I'll get that in. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's turning out pretty well so far. Stay tuned. All right, here's a character with a lot more items. You can see how the item powers are laid out here. How condition is getting lower on a lot of things. Being able to switch between the wagon and the player, and how this works. If you want to transfer items, you can just click the transfer over, swap to the wagon, transfer back. Nice and easy. Now your wagon has everything. When I add the bottom bar that has the extra controls and everything, and I start working on custom controls for this menu, I will probably add a way to just automatically transfer to the wagon if it's available. You just hit a button and you won't have to go through this extra little swap step here. You can just send it directly, and that would be probably how I handle that case. But yeah, there you go. Now you can see coming back and forth from the wagon. Pretty simple. Same rules as in a dungeon. If you're too far away from the door, you won't be able to access this. It won't be here, or it'll be I will probably keep these bars here, even if you don't have a wagon, and just have it be disabled with a tooltip indicating why, so that it's not as confusing, so that if you highlight it, it'll be like, oh, you're too far away from the entrance of the dungeon, and that'll be how that works. Pretty slick.